Hello everyone, this is Terry with Futures IO, and as always, I would like to thank you for joining us today. Now, it's my pleasure to welcome Casey Bonse from GFF Brokers for today's webinar on AXESS TRADER, a powerful cloud-based trading platform. If you have questions, please feel free to type them into the questions box throughout the webinar, and we'll do our best to answer them at the end of the event. If you're watching us on YouTube, please do us a favor and give us a thumbs up if you enjoy the webinar. And as always, please feel free to share, comment, and subscribe to our channel. It really helps a lot. For trading news, events, and information, you can follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter using @FuturesIO. And now, without further delay, I will hand it over to Casey, and you should get the pop-up to share your screen anytime now.
Okay, hello. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Hopefully you can all see my screen now.
Yep, looking good.
Excellent. Well, as I was introduced, my name is Casey. I work with GFF Brokers, and in today's video, we're going to be learning a little bit more about AXESS TRADER. I want to thank everybody for your interest and for taking the time to view this presentation. Before we go too much further, I need to make sure everyone understands that when you're trading futures, options, or Forex, it is very risky, and any trading that is done should only be done with risk capital that, if lost, will not affect your current lifestyle. That being said, we'll go ahead and get into AXESS TRADER. AXESS TRADER, it's a cloud-based platform. What that means is that you can access your account from your desktop PC or from your tablet or from your mobile phone. It's a very robust platform. If you're ever away from your computer and you want to make changes, you can go ahead and log in through your phone, make changes, and those changes will be affected onto the platform very quickly. It's a very customizable platform. As you can see on the screen, it does offer real-time news and alerts that can be set up to let you know when market movements happen, so you can go ahead and get those trades in. It also offers very customizable on-demand reports as well as great account management. We're going to get into all that in a moment when we show you how to use the platform. But as far as subscribing to different data feeds or withdrawing funds, that can all be done inside the platform. There's no need to follow up with your broker or call and get placed on hold or anything. You can just go ahead and request any funds you want out immediately through the platform, and it'll go out the next business day. And of course, the platform is free. There is no monthly fee for the platform itself. Futures industry software really hasn't kept up with the times. That's not really a secret. Many trade platforms that are popular these days were initially designed before smartphones existed. So trying to use platforms as far as mobile trading really wasn't a thing until recently. Now, the aspect that I really like about AXESS TRADER is the fact that it runs on a Mac. There are very, very few futures trading platforms out there that will run on a Mac. Either it's going to run on a PC or it's not going to run at all. I can't tell you how many times I've spoken to traders who will speak with their guru or with their school, and they'll find out their computer isn't powerful enough, and they'll go and buy one, only to find out that they bought a Mac when they should have bought a PC, but nobody specified that for them, so they're stuck with a computer they can't use. AXESS TRADER eliminates that completely. You don't need to worry about it. It runs on a Mac, it runs on a PC. The great part about it is that it looks identical on a Mac as it does to a PC, and it also looks the same way on an iPad and on a mobile phone. There's not going to be a large learning curve. If you learn to use the controls for AXESS TRADER on your desktop, it's going to be the same variation of controls either on your phone or on your tablet. So there's not going to be a steep learning curve going from one order placement method to another order placement method. So one thing you want to keep in mind is if you ever need any help, you can always contact us here at GFF Brokers. We have people that are available 24 hours a day whenever the markets are trading, starting Sunday afternoon until Friday afternoon. So if you ever need to get into a trade or get out of a trade, or if you have questions for your broker or for a technician or myself, don't hesitate to give us a call or shoot us an email, and we'll get an answer for you right away. Now we're going to go ahead and take a look at AXESS TRADER itself. As you can see, AXESS TRADER looks very similar to other platforms that we have or the platforms you may have worked with. You're going to have your DOM, and you're going to have your charts, and you're going to have your quotes and positions. We'll get a positions window added shortly. But the first thing you want to keep in mind with AXESS TRADER is that it is a platform based on what they call modules. And a module would be the DOM, that would be a module, or the chart here, that would be a module. The quotes window, that would also be a module. If you want to add a module, you would go ahead and click the plus sign here in the upper left-hand corner, and that will go ahead and bring up the modules menu. Now, what's really great about this, and we're not going to be able to show you right now because I only have one monitor, but if you have multiple monitors set up, you can go ahead and disconnect a chart here. You can go ahead and break away a chart from the platform and have a full screen chart on a separate monitor and still have your platform up and running on the primary monitor. It makes it very, very easy to zoom in on any market you may be looking at and get a real close look at what the chart is doing or what that market movements are doing. But if you want to go ahead and add a module, what you'll go ahead and do is find the module you want to add here on the left-hand side from the module menu, and you'll go ahead and left-click and drag it to the area you want it. We're going to go ahead and add a positions module because we don't have one set up yet. So we'll go ahead and left-click on positions and hold it down. And as you can see, the platform will project where the module will go, and it'll give you an idea of what the layout of the screen is going to look like after you've added that module. And as you can see, it'll either go ahead and set up here below or on top of the current module they have. And that's one way to do things. We'll go ahead and add this here side by side, make it a little bit easier to see. And as you can see, we now have the positions module here. We're not in a trade yet, so there's no positions to be displayed here. But one great thing about this is that you don't necessarily need to add the module to the screen itself. As I said a moment ago, if you wanted to, you could click on the module and then just click it once, and it's going to create a breakaway module that you can go ahead and move to a separate monitor that will allow you to go ahead and make it a full-size chart that's going to be a little bit easier to see. Now, if you want to go ahead and add a module to the same tab, save yourself a little bit of space, that is definitely an option. You can go ahead and we'll go ahead and add a module here to the indices tab. And as you can see, when we move the module around here, it's projecting that it's going to take up space here, but if we move it close to the tab, you can see the amount of space projected is equal to that of a tab. And what that means is that this module will be added into the same area as the tab that you added under. So now instead of having a DOM side by side, you could have a DOM on the other side of the indices. There's really a few different things. You're not really locked into having it arranged anyway. So if you're using a tablet and you want to save some space, or if you've only got one small monitor, you could go ahead and set it up to have multiple modules set up under tabs. And of course, to go ahead and close any modules you've added, you can go ahead and hover over the tab of the module and look for the X to close that module and get rid of it. Now, when you're placing trades in AXESS TRADER, you'll normally be using the DOM. That's what most traders use, and AXESS TRADER features a very intuitive left-click, right-click order entry placement system. If you left-click in the bid column, it's going to create a limit order. If you right-click in the bid column, it will create a stop order, and that's going to work the exact same way in the ask column. A left-click is going to create a limit, and a right-click is going to create a stop. And when you do that, you're going to get a confirmation. So we'll go ahead and do a left click now below the market. As you can see, it's going to trade for one lot. We're going to have a order to sell limit at 28.10. We're not going to place this order right now because I don't want it to fill immediately. We're just doing this so you have an example of what will happen when you place a trade. You'll get this this confirmation box, but if you want to take that confirmation box away, you could put a check mark in here, and when you go ahead and execute it, it's going to make sure that the next time you place a trade, it's not going to confirm the order for you. It will just execute it immediately. Now, if you want to go ahead and change the time frame of your order, if you want to make it a good till cancel order, or make it an order that will be released at a specific time, you could do so here under the time settings. All of the orders default to being day orders, and that means that any order you place here using AXESS TRADER will be canceled at the end of the trade session, and unless you've made it a good till cancel order. If you want to make it a good till cancel order, you would go ahead and click the GTC switch here at the bottom, and then you would go ahead and access the menu by clicking the little gear symbol here. That's going to go ahead and bring up the order flag settings, and you can either choose to have a day order, what it defaults to, or a good till cancel. And with good till cancel, you have two different options. You have the release option, which will go ahead and allow the order to stay parked and not working until the time and date you specify. Once the time and date you specify occurs, the order will then begin to work at the price that you've specified. The other option would be to make it a good till cancel order, and that would be an order that will work immediately when you place it, and it will continue to work until either the contract month expires or until the time and date that you specify here occurs. Once that time and date occurs, the good till order would then be the good till cancel order would then be canceled. Or if you cancel it before, then that is always an option. Or of course, if the order filled, then you wouldn't need to cancel it. If you wanted to go ahead and set up a bracket order, you could do so here by turning the bracket order on and then accessing the bracket menu with the little gear sign here at the bottom. And that's going to allow you to go ahead and set up your bracket, and you can either go ahead and set up the traditional take profit and stop loss, or if you just wanted to have one half of it, if you only wanted to have the profit target, that would be an option, or if you only wanted to have the stop loss, that would be an option. And of course, you can always choose what your exit is going to look like, whether you're just going to have a straight stop working, or if you would like the exiting trade to be a stop with a limit, or a trailing stop, or a trailing stop with a limit. You've got a few different options there as far as what your exiting trade will be. Up here at the top, you can have the bracket displayed either in ticks or in prices or in dollar amounts. And you can also go ahead and choose where your take profit and where your stop loss are going to work. This is all done in ticks, so you can go ahead and it will, as you saw a moment ago, you could change it to do it in prices, and you could do it, you know, in points and prices or dollar amounts, whatever works best for you. I usually leave it in ticks because that's what most traders think of when they're placing a trade. They think of, you know, 2 ticks is going to be half a point in the E-mini S&P. So that's normally where I would leave it at. But as I said a moment ago, it is very customizable, so you can go ahead and set it up to meet your needs. Now, here on the charts, as you can see, actually, let's go ahead and close this down, make it a little bit bigger to see. We'll increase the size of the charts. And as you can see here, we have a chart window. There's a few different options to the chart, and regardless of what you're going to do with the chart, you'll always access those changes through the chart menu here in the upper left-hand corner. Now, here we have, we're going to start with the, go ahead and start with the indicators. If you want to go ahead and add any indicators to your chart, you would go ahead and do so by accessing the indicator menu. That's going to allow you to add either Keltner channels, different moving averages. There's a few different oscillators and just different indicators that you're going to find helpful. You also have the option of adding your own indicators. This is a Java-based program, so if the indicators are in Java, you should be able to add them without a problem. We'll go ahead and add some Bollinger Bands here. I'm not going to add any sort of criteria to them. Just going to get them up there so you can see them on the screen. But now that we've got the Bollinger Bands added, you do see them here. And if you were ever to go ahead and click on the chart settings, I believe it's going to show you Actually, I apologize, I was incorrect. It's actually the configure chart elements. But if you click on configure chart elements, that's going to show you any sort of indicators you may have. It'll also allow you the option to remove the indicators. And if we were in a trade, it would show the position here listed just above the Bollinger Bands. Now we can go ahead and access the chart settings here, and that will allow you to go ahead and add a histogram or show fills or go to the current bar. There's a few different options there that you can access with the chart settings. You can also change the way the chart is displayed. If you wanted to, you could make it a tick chart or make it a Renko or a candlestick chart. Right now it's set to bars. We'll go ahead and change it to candlesticks. And as you can see there, you can go ahead and make those changes very quickly and very easily. If you want to change the time period of the chart, you would just go ahead and access that aspect of the menu here, and that will allow you to go ahead and change it into a tick chart or change it into a 1 minute chart or customize the time range on the chart to what you think you're going to need as a trader. You can also zoom into the chart very easily. To zoom into the chart, you'll want to go ahead and click the zoom in button once. That's going to activate it, and then you'll want to find the area you want to zoom in on, and you'll go ahead and click once to start the zoom and move your cursor, and then you'll go ahead and left click one more time when you've finished highlighting the area you want to zoom on, and as you can see, that area magnifies and you get a much closer look at that section of the chart. If you want to go ahead and zoom out and get back to looking at the whole chart, you would just go ahead and click the zoom out button, and it's going to take you back to where you were, and you'll be looking at the chart at its entirety. The chart does default to having the target on. If you want to go ahead and turn the crosshairs off, you would just go ahead and click the crosshairs button, and the crosshairs will no longer be visible on the chart. The default for the chart also displays this chart data box that's going to offer you the information as far as the high, low, open, and close of the bar you're looking at. You can go ahead and remove that with either a click of this little X here to close it, or if you wanted to remove it here, you can just take it away that way. It's also possible to add lines to the chart, whether you want to go ahead and add either a Fibonacci retracement, or if you want to go ahead and add some trend lines. There's a few different options there. If you want to go ahead and add a line, you just go ahead and highlight the line you'd like to add. We'll go ahead and add one line. It's the same thing for all of them. So once you learn how to do it for one, you'll be able to do it for any of them. But highlight the one you'd want to add. And then just like you would with the zoom, you click where you want the line to start, and you go ahead and drag it to where you want it to end, and then left click again. And as you can see, the line is now created on the chart. If you ever want to go ahead and change the angle of the line, or if you want to move the line entirely, just let your mouse hover above the line. If you want to move it, if you want to change the angle, do it at one of the ends and left click, and it'll allow you to change the angle of the line. Or if you wanted to just move the line, you could highlight it somewhere closer to the center and just left click and move it over to the new area of the chart you want it displayed at. And that's how you would go ahead and add different lines and retracement trends and so forth to the chart. Now, if you want to go ahead and place a trade directly from a ticket, that is also an option. We'll go ahead and get the quote window added so you can see that. Where is our quotes? There we go. And my mistake, that would have added a pop-out window with a quote. We want to go ahead and add a quote to the platform itself. And to do that, we'll need to drag it over here. Now, as you can see, we have the quotes window here, and one great thing about the quotes window is that you can go ahead and trade directly from the quotes window. If you see a market you want to trade in and it's you see a great price you want to get in there, you could just go ahead and hover over the market you want to trade and either click sell or click buy, and it's going to bring up a pre-populated trade ticket that you'll go ahead and that you can go ahead and modify, either change the price or change the order type and execute the trade. One great thing about this is if you accidentally click the wrong side, you can always change it inside the trade ticket from being a buy ticket to a sell ticket very easily. And this is actually very similar as to how you would execute trades from the chart. I apologize, I should have mentioned this a moment ago, but it slipped my mind, but we'll get into it right now. And that was that if you want to go ahead and place a trade from the chart, you would do so by clicking directly on the chart. Unlike the dome, when you go ahead and click on the dome, it's going to require you to do a left click for the limit and a right click for the stop. With the dome, it doesn't matter if you do a left click or a right click. I apologize, with the chart, it doesn't matter if you click with a left click or a right click, it's going to place an order regardless. So if you place a left click, it's going to bring up an option that will let you choose stop or limit. Or if you do a right click, it's going to give you an option that lets you choose stop or limit. The primary way to determine where the trades are placed using the chart is you would place the trade above where the market is trading. If you want to go ahead and place a buy stop, any trades that are placed above where the market is trading, it defaults to being a buy stop and a sell with a limit. And any trades placed below where the market is trading defaults to being a sell stop and a buy with a limit. So if you wanted to do a sell stop above the market, you would need to use the dome or use an order ticket, because when you're trading off of the chart, the order types that you can trade directly from the chart are a bit limited. You're only going to be able to do a limit or a stop, and it depends on where you click the mouse. The right click and the left click have nothing to do with it. It really only has to do with where on the chart you click. Now, we'll go ahead and take a look at the order entry ticket again. And as you can see here, with the order entry tickets, you can go ahead and change the order type, or change if you're going to have a good till cancel order, make it a good till a day that it'll be executed at. So those options are available for you on the order ticket. Another option that's available for you on the order ticket is to place OCO and OSO orders. An OCO order is an order that is very similar to a bracket. It stands for one cancels other. And normally the way an OCO works is you will have two orders that'll be working. Once the market reaches the primary order, or once the order reaches the secondary order, it doesn't matter. Once one half of that trade is filled, the other working order will be canceled, and you won't have to worry about canceling it yourself, because that's how one cancels other work. Once the one half of the order fills, the other working order will be canceled, and you may be in a position, you may be flat. It really depends on what you're doing with the trade. That is different from an OSO order, and that stands for one sends other. A one sends other order will go ahead and execute a secondary trade once the primary trade has triggered. Now, an example of that would be a trade that gets you into the market, and then your sends other order would be a stop order that follows the trade that you are now in. And that would be the main difference between a one cancels other and a one sends other, and both of those would be set up through the advanced ticket window here. Now, in the positions window, we'll go ahead and get into a trade now, actually, so we can see the positions window. We'll just go ahead and buy one at the market, even though we're about to close right now. And as you can see now, we'll go ahead and shows where we got into the market at here on the chart. And when we add a positions tab, it should give us some information regarding the position and the trade we're in. And as you can see now, the position is displayed here, and it'll go ahead and tell that we're long one, we bought one, the price that we bought it at, and of course the time that it was bought at. One thing that you want to keep in mind with AXESS TRADER, and this goes for just about any of the modules you're going to be using, whether it's going to be a quote board or a positions window, all of these modules are customizable. If you get into the settings, you can go ahead and change the way the columns are displayed, what columns are displayed, and how they're displayed. You can go ahead and change all of that very easily inside the settings, and that doesn't work just for the positions window. You could access that in the quote board as well, and there are different columns that you can add and rearrange in the quote board. So I'd encourage you to check that out and see if there were any information in there that you may find helpful. Now, going to the left-hand side here, we have a few different options, and we'll go ahead and take a look at the reports. As I mentioned a little while ago, in the beginning, the reports are very customizable. You can go ahead and set up reports based on specific orders or your position history or what your money's been doing in the account, or any sort of other order details that you may be looking for, as far as if you're looking for only reports on sales, or only reports on canceled orders, or only reports on rejected orders. You could pull up all of that here. And it also offers great account management. And how you would do that would be to access the application settings here on top. And this would allow you to either withdraw funds, or if you are working with a, the term board I'm thinking of would slip my mind now, but it is a, I can't believe I've forgotten that term now, but this platform has a feature, and it's featured on other platforms as well, not too often, but basically once you have a certain dollar amount that you have lost, a loss limit, you can go ahead and change that on the fly. Other platforms I've worked with will require you to contact either your broker or contact technical support to update the amount of your loss limit. Some people will have it set for thousands, other for tens of thousands. It depends on what your appetite for losses as a trader. Some people only have it set for a few $100s, but they'll find that they want to get back into the trade because they see a great opportunity coming up and they want the chance to try and make that money back. Sometimes they'll miss the opportunity because they're on hold trying to get the loss limit reset and the opportunity passes them by. Here, that's not really a problem, because if you do want to change your loss limit, you could go ahead and do so by accessing it here in the settings and changing it on the fly, and you'd be able to do it immediately. You could also go ahead and add or subscribe or unsubscribe from any sort of market data that you may be using. If there's some markets you want to get data for immediately and you don't have time to call technical support, you'll be able to do it here and get those markets added right away. If you ever want to go ahead and withdraw funds, you can go ahead and do it here in the platform, and it'll be withdrawn directly from your futures account and sent directly to your personal bank account without a problem. Well, I want to thank you all for taking the time to learn a little bit more about AXESS TRADER, brought to you by GFF Brokers. I look forward to answering any questions you may have, and thank you very much for your time. So,
all right, if you have a question, please feel free to start typing them into the questions box, and I will ask them to Casey. On a Mac, is that right-click a control-click?
That I'm not sure. I'll need to test it on a Mac to be sure. I think it would be a control click, to be honest with you, because as we know, there's only one button on the mouse. So I'm thinking that would be the control click, but I would have to check it to be sure.
Okay. Is there an API for custom programming?
Is there an API for custom programming? I do not believe there is, no. When you say API for custom programming, would that be for a specific strategy or for an indicator?
I'm assuming either to create your own indicators or to create a automated strategy or.
Again, that's something I'm going to need to look and speak to the technicians about. I don't believe it does, but I could be wrong.
Okay. Are there any kind of fib indicators, Fibonacci indicators?
Yeah, they do have some Fibonacci retracement lines. As far as the indicators go, let's take a look and find out.
I was going to say, which ones do we have?
Because there are Fibonacci retracement lines as far as on the lines you can draw, but on the indicators, looking for a Fibonacci line. I am not seeing any Fibonacci and the indicators itself.
Okay, there is a VWAP. I see. I'm just thinking about common ones that people usually ask about: VWAP,
Okay.
pivot points.
We definitely
There we
have.
go. There it is.
Yeah,
There goes the
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, well, I didn't know if you were looking for a specific indicator or if the drawing would be sufficient, but yeah, it does offer Fibonacci retracements as well as I don't know if there's a pivot option, but I know that you can go ahead and add your own text if you know what they are.
Under the channels, there was a pivot points channel. It looked like.
And there
Yeah.
we go. So yes, it does offer pivot points and Fibonacci retracements.
I saw something where you had the drawing tools. There was a volume profile. Can we see what that looks like? Oh, I see. It's doing it right there in the chart in the bar. It's wherever you put the mouse over is what it's showing in the bar itself.
Okay.
Or it did. It stopped a second back. It was doing it bar by bar, but it looks like it stopped at the
Yeah, I
back.
think now that the market's closed, I think that think it's going to be limited to the data we can display now.
Oh, okay. Hi, if you have any other questions, please feel free to type them in. So, okay, I'm trying to think of how to phrase this. Which markets are available to trade with this platform? Which
Um,
contracts? All of them?
all of them, yeah.
Can you have several charts, i.e., at different time frames, up at the same time?
Yes. Yep.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah, you can have as many charts as you want. The only thing that's going to limit you is going to be how many charts you can stick on one screen. Earlier in the presentation, I can't do it myself because I only have one monitor. But you can have, if you've got 4 monitors, you can have 4 different charts up on each monitor, or you could have 4 charts up right here if you wanted to. We can go ahead and add another one now, and it'll, go ahead and we can go ahead and change, so you can definitely go ahead and have one like 5-minute chart and one 15-minute chart. As you can see, we've got a 5-minute and a 15 right next to each other. And so the only thing that really limits you with that would be what you want to do.
okay. Uh, they're asking if Ninja Trader indicators would work in this platform.
Ninja script, not immediately. You would need to convert them into Java.
Okay, so it's a Java instead of the C++.
That's right. Yeah, this is a Java-based platform.
Okay. Is there a chart trader window?
A chart trader window. I'm sorry, but what do you mean by chart trader window? Because you do trade directly from the chart.
Yeah, I see that there. I see the buy and sell on the charts.
Yeah, and so yeah, if on the chart, if you click above where the chart is trading, it's going to make all of the sells limits and all of the buy stops. Or if you click below where the chart is trading, it makes all of the sells stops and all of the buys limits. And that's how you would execute a trade on the chart. As far as a window, I don't think a separate window pops up. That would happen with a chart or with a trade from either the from the quotes window. You get a separate trade ticket, but not from the chart.
Okay. I think that's all the questions. I'm not seeing any more. Do you have a slide at the end with the contact information?
I do. Yeah, let's go ahead and bring that up. I apologize. We probably should have brought that up before everybody left, but and again, trading futures is very, very risky. If You shouldn't be trading if you don't have money to lose. Lastly, if you need any help, please do not hesitate to give me a call. I can be reached at 818-510-4590 or 844-896-7432. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to give me a call. Like I said, if you need to speak to a technician, we have somebody here 24 hours a day starting Sunday afternoon until Friday afternoon.
All right. Awesome. Thank you for the webinar, for the information, and for spending some time with us. There's one question I see at the end.
Great.
It's a question on mobile connectivity. Can you talk,
Yes.
I guess, a bit about the mobile app?
It's going to run on Android as well as Mac-based phones, and anywhere you connect to the internet, you should be able to access it and place trades. Like I said in the presentation, the mobile interface is virtually identical to the desktop interface, so there's not going to be a large learning curve going from using it on your desktop to using it on your phone. Are there any specific questions about the mobile interface that I can answer?
I'll wait. With the trading platform, are the stops held at the exchange or locally?
The stops are held the stops are held at the exchange. I believe the limits are too.
Okay, because the question is on the loss of connectivity. So that okay.
Oh yeah. If you lose connection, you don't need to worry about the stops not hitting. They will execute if you are not connected. So that's something you would not need to worry about.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, hey, well, thanks again. I appreciate you taking the time to let me do this presentation, Terry. I really appreciate your help. Have a great day.
Absolutely, you too. If you're watching this on YouTube later and you have a question that wasn't answered during the webinar, please feel free to email Casey or call, and they will get you to the right people. Thank you, and have a good evening.
Thanks again. Bye-bye.